What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of the Big Red Barrel podcast. The new, a year late, but still top, still official, the number one new, super awesome official first episode of the Big Red Barrel podcast.
Yeah!
Woo! Yeah! I'm your host, or one of the co-hosts, PacManPolarBear, joined by my two superhero compadres, good old Dave, our audio god.
Yo!
And our resident awesome video game reviewer, Kev.
Hey, I am feeling a bit bad because it's the first official episode and I didn't bring a rap this week.
Well, yeah, but you brought the intro, which is gold. I mean, that's triple platinum.
We gotta talk about that. We're recording this episode on a Sunday, and Dave and I just heard the new intro audio provided by Kev today, and it blew us away. It's pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, people like it. I came up with that in work while I was just sat down humming to myself. Came over and recorded it.
And if you'd like to hear Kev's rap, you can check out the WTF feed. And
actually, believe it or not, we are assuming control of the WTF feed.
Oh, well, you'll hear it there.
Oh, so you don't have to. Just go back to last week and listen to our prototype episode to hear Kev rap, which was also pretty great. He obviously worked a little harder on our new intro, which is why it sounds so f***ing epic.
Yeah, he not 10 seconds. He went for about a minute and a half this time.
The rap was way harder, guys. I'm just saying.
Whatever, rap music's tough.
It is.
You know?
Gotta hit those beats.
Because in between last week and this week, you had to shoot 6 people just to keep your rep up.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem with rap. You gotta...
Yeah, especially British rap, because you know how hard it is to get a damn gun in Britain?
This is true. That's why we rely on chains and fists. Fisticuffs, son.
Fisticuffs?
Yep, fisticuffs.
Nice.
So lots of pugilists? Look it up, kids.
Lots of pogo
Pugilism
sticks.
Weekly.
What's this about pogo sticks?
I think he said he wants to take a ride on your disco stick.
Ah, well then we need to talk after the podcast, Mr. Pac-Man.
That's not a no.
I'm saying. It's mostly a yes.
But since this is the first episode of our show, this is an everything podcast. So if it's video game related, we're going to talk about it. Doesn't matter what platform it's on. PC, mobile, all the consoles, it's all good. And we're going to recap what we thought were some of the coolest stories of the week from all the different platforms and pieces of the industry. And we're going to pick a big topic each week to delve into. So our big issue of the week. And just like on the Blue Show, this show will provide bonus content every week. Except for the weeks that we don't, which we'll have a good reason for, I'm sure.
We're not promising it's going to be good.
But it will be extra.
Yeah.
It will be extra. And everyone knows extra stuff is always good. Always good. It's our good DLC, I guess.
It's our extra couple of inches.
Yeah. just buy the season pass. It's the app. It's only $2.99.
Well, let's be real. If everyone could get a couple extra inches for under $5.
Hey, I give anybody who's willing a couple of extra inches, okay?
I've actually got an email that promises it.
Really? I got one from the deposed leader of Zimbabwe, and he says if I give him some money, he'll give me 10 grand.
I don't know. Something about that guy makes me not want to trust him.
Racist.
Yeah.
I was gonna say his poor email typing skills, but yeah, I might be racist.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Canadians are so racist.
Yeah, that's what we're known for. First up this week, we're gonna just talking about some of the games we've been playing. I had a chance to pick up Assassin's Creed 3's first big story DLC, the Tyranny of King Washington, and I got the season pass. Sort of dubious on it because I don't actually use a lot of the multiplayer content, but this is the first big story-driven content, and it's good. I mean, it's, new voice acting, new settings. It's basically what happens if Washington didn't step down and he actually became the King of America. So, the main character...
Fun fact, they originally wanted to call him the King. They were actually in the room debating before he walked in when they were gonna, say congratulations. And, they just couldn't debate. And apparently the one guy walked up to him, the first person to do it. So it was like, hello, Mr. President. Welcome. And I was like, oh, that's what we'll do. We'll call him that. That's a good name, sir. Good name. Bully.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I need to establish something now because I've got a sneaking suspicion this is going to be confirmed But Pac-Man, you and I, over the course we've been setting up for this podcast, have been disagreeing somewhat on good games. And I want to know what your opinion on Assassin's Creed 3 was. Because I think we might have a difference of opinion again.
Oh, it's just walking into the shotgun barrel. I really enjoyed 80% of Assassin's Creed 3, and I really disliked 20%.
Right, okay.
There's the stuff as Desmond was awful. That whole story ending and that whole overarching sci-fi twist, had no payoff. It was just awful. And then there was parts of the campaign where it seemed like they had lots of little good ideas, but they didn't really flesh a lot of them out.
Right.
But the addition of the ship stuff, which I thought was kind of a gimmick, was awesome. The ship stuff was really great. And there were certain parts of Connor's story, like the actual story that I enjoyed. And I liked the change in the fighting style, and I liked running around the frontier. But some of the tower defense stuff was, I could have done without that.
Oh, they kept the tower defense stuff. Awful.
Anyway, but I overall I enjoyed it. It was worth the money. It was one of my game of the year lists for BRB.
Yeah. I liked the pirate stuff. That was good. Which bodes well for that thing that got leaked this week. But, the rest of Assassin's Creed 3 I thought was, that was a bad game.
Well, the thing about the DLC being nice is it's not a 15-minute mission. You know what I mean? Like, I actually sat down to play for a while, and I wasn't able to finish the first chapter, because they're releasing 3 chapters for the DLC. I wasn't able to finish the first chapter in one sit down, so I'm not sure at the final length of time yet, but, it's a complete reset, so you never become an assassin. Your mom never, spoiler.
Oh god! Oh my god, the spoilers! Oh god!
Your mom never dies Connor's mom never dies in the game, so, things are kind of turned on its head, but it's a nice new story, and I'm actually kind of curious to see how it goes. And Washington is badass. He's burning people alive and just like ordering deaths left, right, and center. He's a worthy bad guy.
Wait, what drives Connor to become an assassin if his mum doesn't die?
Well, that's the thing. In the alternate universe, that just never comes up.
Huh. Okay.
They allude a little bit that your dad was still an assassin of some type, because you do acquire some gear that sort of links back to that. But the twist is Connor is aware that something has changed. So Connor's still aware of the ending of Assassin's Creed 3, and then he wakes up in this world where, boom, Mom's still alive, and Washington isn't a good guy. And
so is this like Undead Nightmare? Is this a nightmare? Is it a bad dream?
There's stuff that I haven't seen. I haven't played through it all yet, but it's a cool little take. I'm actually impressed with it so far.
When I saw them announce that this was going to be their first bit of DLC, the first thing I thought was, this is to make all the British people happy who were upset that you had to kill British people in the campaign.
Whatever, you killed as many Americans.
Yeah, but now it's all America all the time. It's to bring those Brits back in. We're like, no, not killing Brits. Not going to do it.
Well, the thing is, buy the DLC on its own is kind of pricey, but if these 3 pieces of DLC, these 3 pieces of story-driven DLC all end up being worth playing, then I've recouped the cost of my season pass, because I'm not really getting a lot of mileage out of the multiplayer stuff that they've released as part of the season pass.
Bah. I haven't been interested in Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed 2, and
Okay, moving on to another game, a game that I think all 3 of us, if we don't already own, we all kind of think is cool. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I know Kev's got it. Have you gotten to any of the cool boss fights yet? Because they're all over YouTube.
I haven't gotten that far into it. I'm maybe an hour and a half in. But the very first boss fight is against a Metal Gear Ray. So it starts off ridiculous and just gets way more ridiculous from that point onwards. It's really bloody fun. Really fun. Hard though.
And there's only a couple weird things though. Like you can't slice, cardboard cutouts of girls.
I have not noticed.
Well, what kind of sick pervert are you? Why do you want to do such a thing?
Yeah, I didn't even try.
I just want to know I can if I wanted to.
Sure.
But why would you want to?
Because, I don't know, because I want to do stuff I'm not supposed to do.
You also can't randomly beat off in public in the game, but, you know.
Wow, that's an extreme example. Was that just sitting on the noggin?
No one complains about not being able to do that.
Where did that even come from?
But speaking of things you shouldn't do, no matter how tempted you might be, don't spoil the last boss fight in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance by looking it up on YouTube. Because I did, and now I feel like that would have been such a great moment to be amazed by. So don't watch the boss fight trailer videos on YouTube.
I've actually seen none of them, so I'm good, I guess. I'm playing through it slowly.
I want it just because I've seen those boss fights, and boss fights are a dying art.
It's really good fun. It's pretty hard, though. As I mentioned on the last episode of this podcast, on episode 0, whatever number that is in the imaginary world of prototypes.
Episode P for prototype.
Yeah, that one. My big issue with Infamous, for example, was the controls. And Rising had some pretty tough to get used to controls. Not in terms of the combat itself, but the camera is all over the flipping place, which is nightmarish. And, you don't have a block in that game. It relies on a parry system. And the parry doesn't react lightning quick like it would do in, say, a Ninja Gaiden game. So, it's not balanced and tweaked especially well. But yes, you can get around it, and when you do pull off the moves, god damn is that game fun. Nice.
And, we're gonna bring the conversation back to Assassin's Creed, because first there was a poster that leaked, detailing Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Then the trailer that's supposed to get released tomorrow, leaked early, which showed us the first, guess, sort of cinematic trailer for Black Flag, which is basically what we all knew was coming, is Assassin's Creed as a full-blown pirate game with all about the ships. It's all about traveling around the Caribbean.
Wouldn't it be better if they called this our Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, they should do that. Also, what did I just say? Best part of Assassin's Creed 3, pirate bit. What do they do next? Make a whole game about the pirate bit. I'm in.
Yeah.
But how much ship-to-ship combat and all that are you going to expect?
All of it. The whole game.
Because it looks like there's a point where you get off the boat.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, the idea is that it's all about the ship, and you travel across the Caribbean. So you're basically bouncing from island to island to island. So I assume that every different location is going to be broken up by ship-based missions. So, I could see the game being, 50-50 split, whereas the last game was sort of 90% on land, 10% on water. And I think everyone agreed that the ship-based stuff in 3 was a highlight.
The bit.
When I looked at this, all I wanted to do was go play Sid Meier's Pirates.
Now that was a fun game.
Yeah. I was like, and then I went to see if it was available for the Vita. It's not.
Zing.
Made me sad, because Sony, you missed out on $5.
Overboard as well. That was a great PS1 pirate game.
There's a lot of bad pirate games too.
I don't see myself picking this up either, because, like I said, I don't care about Assassin's Creed now that they're determined to put one out every single year like it's Call of Duty.
I don't know. I just want more of that ship stuff, but it's, the trailer leaked and said that, the release date was October 29th. Coming to all next-gen consoles, and they specifically list, PS3, PS4, 360, Wii U, and PC. And we're recording on a Sunday, but, on Monday, on March 4th, all the official details are supposed to get released, so we might know more by next show.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to finding out what happens to the present day world of Assassin's Creed. Yeah!
Yeah! I just want them to get rid of that sci-fi overarch to the series completely, but whatever.
Guess what's not gonna happen? That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But guess what is happening? Willem fucking Dafoe, Mr. Platoon, is gonna be in the new Quantic Dream game Beyond Two Souls.
$10 says that he stabs her in the back, Ellen Page in the back at some point. Curse your inevitable betrayal!
But Willem Dafoe, he's awesome. Boondock Saints, Platoon, a whole bunch of other movies.
Spider-Man.
Willem.
I don't know if I put Spider-Man on
Dude,
there,
he was awesome in Spider-Man.
He was, I'll give you that he was the best part of Spider-Man.
Oh my god. I can't imagine there's, a whole lot of people that listens to this podcast that doesn't also listen to Jim Sterling's Destructoid podcast and have heard all of the Willem Dafoe movie pitches over there. So just for you guys listening, I'm sharing with you in the hilarity of this subject. Just want you to know.
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of Willem Dafoe, and the details that they dropped from Quantic Dream is that game's out October 8th on the PS3. There's no mention of the PS4 yet. And Willem Dafoe isn't just some side character. He's one of the main characters that's going to be acting alongside Ellen Page. And I don't know, that's kind of awesome. Because if you look at the video trailers and stuff, they put Willem Dafoe in the game. It looks like Willem Dafoe's in the game. We're talking, yeah, it's Quantic Dream, so it looks really, really lifelike.
Ellen Page, what's that ghost thing? Is that a ghost? Get that ghost out of here.
Yeah. She's got supernatural powers from some entity, whatever.
I still need to see a little bit of gameplay before I get excited about this, because if I'm running around picking up and putting down plates, or taking a whiz or a shower, unless it's Ellen Page taking a shower, I'll watch that for an hour. But I need to see how I'll be playing, because I haven't seen any gameplay footage yet. It's all
I mean, we're all expecting, some sort of more interactive movie than video
Well, I don't
game.
want Tedious, the game. I don't want to play that game again. I already played that game. I didn't really like it.
I hope everyone's learned their lesson at this point in time that David Cage is a liar. There's no better way to describe him than that. He's just a flat-out liar. So just never listen to anything he says about his fucking video games.
No.
Yeah, he is one of those guys who gets quoted a lot for one-liners about the industry.
Because he talks a lot. He never shuts up. He's like the new Cliffy B.
One thing the new generation of consoles is going to bring is the ability to create vaster faces, in which case we will be able to portray emotional content. Yes, David Cage, have you never heard of Journey or The Walking Dead?
You know what he is? He's actually the new Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, those two went to the same club, I think. The club that teaches how
definitely.
to lie to people.
It doesn't teach you how to keep your hair.
Yeah, that's true too.
We can make more realistic faces so that we may bukkake upon them.
It's an exclusive
dear.
club of liars and it's founded by Peter Molyneux with members David Cage and Randy Pitchford.
Oh, Randy. Poor Randy.
I'm just amazed that Dave found a way to work bukkake into a discussion topic. There's another word to look up, kids.
No, don't look that up.
Don't look it up.
Don't actually look that up. Not safe for work. Not safe for work.
I don't know. When he came out and said that about the faces, I was like, you know what gives me, an emotional attachment is a character I actually give a about. And that very rarely happens.
Yeah, that's never going to happen in a David Cage game.
Well, no, it's not, because you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm tired of stacking plates. Will this dude just die? And I mean, the thing I can come up best with is Mass Effect. I mean, I got emotionally attached to some of those characters, like Morton, when he died. That was kind of sad for me.
Jason!
Yeah, don't forget to yeah, you know what would have made me care more about Jason if I could see more emotion in his face.
Jason!
Yeah.
Get over here, you little
Like, well, I mean, that kid wasn't a toddler. He just blindly walked out into the street. That was a Darwin Award. That wasn't no tragedy.
When I was playing through that, I'm like, oh God, I hope this kid gets hit by a car. I'm really tired of pressing X and walking behind him. And then he got hit by the car, and then all was well.
Oh, heavy rain.
Guys, I found Jason.
Really?
He's in 2 pieces.
Is he a pancake?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but, there's been some talk about Sony and,
the power!
And the power of 4K. So them talking about Sony's got a 4K movie streaming service coming out, and whether or not it would work on the PS4. And it looks like, Phil Molyneux, who's the Sony president, COO, that he said that people will not be disappointed in regards to the PS4 supporting 4K streaming. But what people don't seem to realize yet, they knew it was going to be big, but you're basically talking typical 4K movie being 100 gigabytes.
Yep. Uncompressed, at least.
That's only a problem for you Canadians with your caps.
Well, I mean, literally, that's 90% of my monthly limit right there.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy for one movie.
For one movie. And the thing is the TV you have right now is not going to know the difference between 1080 and 4K.
Nope.
No.
And that's assuming that I mean, even if you could put up, 100 gigabytes at a time per movie. I mean, even now, like sometimes my internet drops a little bit and I'm not getting full HD out of my Netflix streaming.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's a future service because that's something that can't be marketed worldwide yet because there's just too much disparity between, data caps and speeds, worldwide. But still, 100 gigs a movie? God damn.
Yeah, but that is uncompressed, so it'll look really pretty if you've got enough money to buy a 4K TV.
Yeah, which has to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is people just don't buy TVs very often.
I know this is a very false thing to say, but I'm going to say it. The porn will look amazing.
You got to see all of the follicles.
Well,
actually,
it'll look too amazing because now you'll be able to see every flaw, every makeup covered sore or whatever. I don't know.
I think it's cute that you think they still use makeup these days.
That is exactly what I'm into. I want the flaws.
He's like, hold on a second. Is that a C-section scar? Kevin's in.
Yeah, son. I also want to use this topic as a platform to launch Kev's Tech Minute. In which I just want to address the problem that people have at the moment regarding 4K. They seem to think that it's a bit of a jip that the next generation of consoles aren't going to run 4K video games. Guys, that's not going to happen in the next 20 years. GPUs that powerful don't exist. They can barely run 1600p. 4K is ridiculous.
Yeah, most games aren't even 1080 yet.
Exactly.
Like, that's the big thing. I mean, I remember that was one of the big things, like, oh, we go to 1080i now. No, most games, if you're lucky, are 720.
If you run Crysis 3, which is a game that is out, that came out last month, and put that in 1080p on the PC, it eats up video cards. Tries to destroy them. Mine almost exploded.
Exploded.
4K resolution is not going to happen anytime soon. Just want to put that out there. Video, fine. Not video games. That was Kev's Tech Minute. Back to the show.
And again, your TV wouldn't know the difference. Your eyes wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
But just quick update for the people who are still interested because Metro Last Light was one of those games that was sort of up in the air after the recent acquisitions. But May 14th, North America, May 17th, everywhere else, PC 360, PS3. I'm glad that Metro got a second chance because that first release was a little bit of a dark horse, but it got enough of a following to get them a second game.
Well, I don't think that really matters when it came to THQ. I mean, they greenlit that. They greenlit Homefront 2.
Greenlighting Homefront 1 was a stupid mistake.
You can argue that as much as you like, but the advertising budget they put behind it got them to sell millions of copies of that game.
Oh yeah, I mean, they sold that on straight up jingoistic, America yeah stuff. But,
yeah.
And it worked.
It did work.
Hey, America yeah.
Look, it was an awful video game. I got about 10 minutes in and just stopped. But yeah, that game sold a lot. So there's no wonder they greenlit a sequel. I'm really happy about Metro Last Light though. I really wanted that game to come out. Metro 2033 was brilliant.
They showed that trailer during the, it was a live action trailer, but during the, Spike VGAs, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, because I mean, the first game was made by a relatively small team for very little money. For how good it was, it's an achievement. This time has a budget, even if it was had a little trouble.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you go back and play that first game on PC, it still looks really good today. The lighting effects they used in that game were really clever.
No, it's all about lighting effects.
It is.
Lighting effects.
HDR, it's the future, son.
Booyah.
But they didn't do it in 4K, so f*** them.
Speaking of the future, another game has cut their single player from their multiplayer and, released it. So now we got Uncharted 3 multiplayer is on the PSN. It's free to play until level 15. So everyone can get in the multiplayer. And then once you get to level 15, you can decide how you want to go. You can buy just the co-op stuff. You can buy just the multiplayer stuff. You can still buy the digital game of the year package, which is still the cheapest way to get everything all in one. And then there's, the different little mini microtransactions that they've added. But Uncharted 3's multiplayer was actually pretty fun, and it might even be worth it to just get the digital game of the year edition because you get everything that way.
Meh. I play Uncharted for one reason and one reason only. That's the single player.
I don't know. I mean, there's something about the ridiculous taunt system in multiplayer that, honestly, like that, it sounds funny. Like, two things. The maps are sick multiplayer maps, 2 and 3. But the other thing is the taunt system. You ever be able to do like, the chest bump or dance over top of them, right? Or like taunt them and then smoke them and then you get the bonus. I mean, that stuff was addictive, man.
Hold on a second. You don't bring that up when we're talking taunts. There's only one game that you go for when it comes to taunts, and that's Saints Row the Third.
That's a good one.
Cause first of all, my guy who I gave him the Cockney accent goes, go 3rd Street, go, and then does the ninja rap dance from, Ninja Turtles 2? Secret of the Ooze?
Ninja.
With the Vanilla Ice?
Ninja.
Yeah, he totally just busts that out. And like, you'll see people doing like the Macarena and stuff. That's how it's done.
But that's just one of the myriad of ways that, Saints Row 3 was awesome.
That's true.
When you get into Uncharted, though, in the multiplayer, and just see everyone in the game doing the pelvic thrust towards each other, it's brilliant.
It is pretty friggin' funny. But I like that game. The second one had some rough edges, but 3, I mean, that game is actually relatively well balanced for a multiplayer game that's at its heart still all about the single player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, check it out. It's on PSN, free to play to level 15, and then you gotta cough up some cash, and there's ads until you pay money. Just to warn you, the ads are in there.
Ads for what?
I don't know. Probably ads just for other Sony content, I'd assume. I don't expect to see stuff for like, Axe body spray or any of that stuff.
Can't get your little guy up? Try a Viagra. The little blue pill from Sony.
Nathan Drake says it's kind of good.
Need an extra couple inches? Moving on to something I think we all kind of knew was coming based on the fact that it looks like the PS4 and the new Xbox are going to be more aligned with PC architecture than the old ones were. But Watch Dogs is going to have the PC be its lead platform, which makes sense since there's much more unity between the different platforms in the porting process. But Yves Guillemot, he said, we previously developed games first on the 360 and then translated them onto the PS3. And it took a lot of time and money to make that port. Now we develop from the PC and versions are translated into consoles like PlayStation 4, which is friggin' sweet.
Yep, that is the best way to do it now. Now that those consoles are both running x86 and, DDR RAM. Definitely the easiest way to do it.
I was trying to explain to someone what was bad about ports coming from the console back to the PC and the PC versions being related later. And I'm like, when you look at games like and you go to their the graphics setting or the video options in the PC version, and you don't see any options. The only option is to change the screen resolution. You're like, that's what happens when things get ported from the console back to PC. You basically lose any of the high-end options on the PC, whereas this way...
Scaling down is better than scaling up.
And occasionally you have the option to go into the configuration file and change a few ones and zeros around, but that is a hassle that shouldn't exist.
Yeah. I don't mind doing that because I grew up when you had to tweak your INI and...
Yeah, absolutely.
Not INI, but, the different config sys files and stuff when you were using the 386 and the 486 to play games. You used to have to go in and hard edit things in DOS to get games to run.
Yeah.
Woo! DOS! There you go. That's the ticket. I remember when I used to have to launch games from DOS.
The kids right now listening to this going, what the is a DOS?
Yeah.
It's that thing that computers used to use all the time.
Yeah, before Windows.
Actually, during Windows, like, you would have to go into DOS and launch games. Like, they were DOS-based games.
dir/p.
Yep.
And here's a little you to PC users while we're on the subject. Diablo III will be able to have offline cooperative play on the PlayStation 3 and 4, whereas the PC version, as we all know, requires an always online connection to do anything.
Have they established if the PS3 and PS4 versions are going to tie into Battle.net yet? Because if they don't, that would explain this.
You know what? Now that you say that, I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere, but I could see them having just some sort of Blizzard console only setup. I don't know how deeply they tie it into Battle.net.
I don't see why they wouldn't, because they let Macs and PCs play together.
Well, I mean, it just depends on how they develop their the online marketplace, the real money auction house, and how that would work on the PS3 and the PS4, because there's a lot of little considerations to be made there, whereas the auction house and its functionality is built right into everything they're doing on the PC.
Yep. Once again, don't care to play Diablo again. Give me a new game, Blizzard. I would have liked a new game.
And it also should be said that they didn't outright specifically say everything could be offline with Diablo 3 and 4, but just that Sony's John Haidt said that you can have 4 people. You can have 4 people on the same screen, no split screen. We just zoom the camera out, and if you're offline, and he just sort of let it go from there. But I think the craziest news is another thing where it's just an executive letting something slip that he probably shouldn't have let slip, is Gran Turismo 6 for PS3.
Yeah, this is a weird one.
It's just weird. Like, Sony Computer Entertainment Europe's Senior Vice President Michael Denny told Silicon Republic, look at the games coming out on the PlayStation 3, like The Last of Us, Beyond Two Souls, and Gran Turismo 6. And that was the acknowledgement. That was the whole kit and caboodle in terms of Gran Turismo 6. But he just this isn't some guy working at Walmart who read a memo. If someone was going to know that Gran Turismo 6 was coming for the PS3, it would be him. So that's kind of cool and kind of crazy.
How many emails do you think he got, like, in his inbox the second this broke?
Yeah.
Think about it this way. What if it was on purpose? Because think about the one thing everybody left the Sony announcement wondering, where the is GTA 6 or GT6?
Do you think that's it?
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, what's the best way to announce Gran Turismo 6? We'll just slip it into conversation with someone that no one's heard of.
We're talking about it. It's a news story. although buyer beware. I don't know if you want a Gran Turismo game that didn't take 5 years to make.
I would love it, because Sony haven't advertised anything in the last year, have they? And they go out and market GT6 now by going like this and just saying, you know what, we'll slip it into conversation, and then they will, like the games press and all of the rest of the world will just start talking about it, and that'll be our PR campaign. We don't have to spend anything.
Well, I mean, Gran Turismo is one of the most popular video game franchises in the world. I mean, it sells a lot of games, like a disproportionate compared to almost any other Sony exclusive.
Yeah. And I mean, think about it. They're going to show something at E3. I mean, they have to, especially if it's coming out in October. But if they're going to not bring it up now, I mean, this is the best way to do it, because they're not going to spend money on it now. There makes no sense to spend money. Why be like Bungie and spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars or however much they spent to fly everybody to Seattle to check out nothing? And, you just go, hey, GT6, boom.
Yeah. But the thing is, him saying it's going to come up for the PS3 doesn't really mean anything, because we know they're supporting the PS3 for at least another 3-4 years. So yeah, it might be coming out for the PS3, but it might actually still be a next-gen title that they peel back to release on the PS3 as well. But still, Gran Turismo 6. Someone said Gran Turismo 6. Yeah.
Like I said, do you really want one that didn't take 5.5 years to make?
I bet it's just the finally finished GT5.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might still take that long. I mean, they're not known for putting out Gran Turismo. I mean, they said GT6, but it could still be years before we see it.
I think this is the product of, you remember when GT5 came out and they said, look, it's not really finished, we're just going to keep patching it until it is. This is the final patch.
Well, the thing about Gran Turismo 6 is they could sell Gran Turismo 6 Prologue, which will be very different from the actual Gran Turismo 6 when it launches. But Gran Turismo 5 Prologue was in and of itself a best-selling title. Like, it sold a lot of copies, like more than 1 million.
Yeah, I bought that. I really regretted it a few months later.
I did too. But, moving on to our big issue of the week.
Big issue of the week.
Big issue! That's a UK joke that you guys won't get.
Friends, let's talk about the Wii U.
Kev has a Wii U.
I do.
Kev has a Wii U. Members of my family do as well, so I've been playing a little bit. I'm holding out for some titles, we'll get into that. But basically, we're just talking about the Wii U and sales, and the harsh reality that, compared to any of the big consoles that have come out in the last the last generation or two, it did poorly. There's just no way to argue that it didn't. You know, they sold 46,000 units in January. 46,000. That's crazy. Now, it's not exactly fair to compare it this way, but for the same period in 2007, the Wii sold 348,000. 348,000 to 46,000 between the Wii U and the Wii. That's crazy. And Nintendo has always made a lot of money.
Well, not always.
Well, I mean, the Wii has been a juggernaut for them in terms of cash that they reaped in.
Well, no, why? Because everybody bought one, and then they bought a bunch of extra controllers. I remember when Rothbart, friend of the show, when he got separated from his wife took the Wii, and because the kids like the Wii, and he's like, well, shit. So he went out and bought one, and he's like, you know how goddamn expensive it is to go buy a Wii and 3 extra controllers? He's like, it f***ing sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lot of ways to make their money back with, you know, they made almost as much money off of their software sales as they did off of the extra hardware that you had to buy.
I don't know, dude. The attach rate on the Wii was low. I think it was like 2 or 3.
Yeah, there weren't many games to play on that system.
You know, you got the Wii Sports, and then you got a couple of Mario games, and then by then you were probably done with your Wii.
So, funny story, when I bought my Wii U, part of my justification to myself to spend that money was that I could finally go and play all these Wii games that I never had a chance to play because I never owned a Wii.
Uh-huh.
I ended up buying 2 games.
Which games?
I bought Super Mario Galaxy and Wii Sports.
That's a good game. And Wii Sports, the de facto have to get game.
Yeah, the comes with a controller game.
Yep. Oh no, that was Wii Play? I don't know. Anyway, I bought Wii Sports secondhand.
But
and I got Galaxy.
Speaking of the Wii U and their software side of things, the software sales on the Wii U is about a quarter of what the Wii U software sales were in its launch period in 2007. But, you know, they've brought down their projections for fiscal year by almost $1 billion, and there's going to take a $219 million loss, for this fiscal year, or this fiscal year that just passed, I guess.
Yeah.
But speaking of the games and how many games people have, the Wii U currently has a tie ratio of 4.1 versus 2.2 on the Wii U. On the Wii, rather.
I can explain that. I can explain that right now. It's very easy to explain. When the Wii came out, everybody bought one. Gamers, not gamers. It was mainly bought for children, by their mothers, and soccer moms bought them just because they thought it was cool, because you could stick out your leg and do yoga and all that. And so they bought it. Like, most of the people I know that own Wiis bought maybe 2 games, maybe 3.
Wii Sports and Wii Fit.
Yeah. And, yeah, they bought the balance board. And that's it. I mean, after that, they were like, okay, well, this was a nice gimmicky, you know, $250 spent, and then it just sat on the shelf collecting dust.
Yeah. I mean, the tie ratio basically means that, while fewer people are buying the Wii U, they're buying more games if they do buy a Wii U.
Well, I think that's because gamers are buying the Wii.
The Wii U.
I mean, actual, like Kev.
The Wii U.
The Wii U, whatever. I don't care.
Well, I mean, it is confusing talking about the Wii U and the Wii because we have to stress which one we're talking about. But
yeah, we couldn't call it the Wii 2, could we, Nintendo? To make it easy, we had to Wii. Why can't we?
It does speak well that people are buying more games when they buy the console, but
well, the question is, do they count Wii titles as part of the attach rate? Like regular Wii titles?
I can't imagine so. Not unless they were bought on the Virtual Console. I don't even know if that would really count.
I don't know.
But if you want to talk painful numbers, we're talking about a brand new, kick-ass new console from Nintendo.
Whoa. Less of the kick-ass, please.
Well, I mean, that's
new.
That's what Nintendo wants you to think. They think it's their new kick-ass, super awesome new console. But the NPD data says that, you know, all told, you know, 57,000 Wii units sold this year. I think that's just stateside. Yeah. And the PS3 has an estimated 145,000. Oh, wait. I mean that the PS3 has an estimated 145,000 sold in January, and the Xbox 360 sold 281,000 in January.
Well, I can explain that if you like. Those 2 systems have games to play. More than 2. factually. The Wii U, really, I think everyone who owns a Wii U probably owns 3 games, at the very least. They've got Nintendo Land, which came with the system anyway. They've got Super Mario Bros. U, because why wouldn't you buy a Super Mario Bros. Game at the launch of a new Nintendo console?
Uh-huh.
And they've got Zombie U, because everyone said that's the new game that's going to be really good and define this console. And to be completely fair, it was great. I loved Zombie U. It wasn't a 5-barrel game. I gave it 4 barrels in my review. It had its problems, but Zombie U was one of my favourite games of last year.
But those are pretty damning numbers, though. I mean, damn. I mean, that's a huge disparity. And what I was said before about the NPD data saying that Nintendo had sold 57,000 this year, that's just 2013.
And it's because when it comes to games, you look at December, nothing came out. You look at January, nothing came out. February, nothing came out. March, we're now at the point where there's going to be 2 fairly big games coming out this month. They should have had Rayman Legends out by now. Obviously, that's got its own issues that I don't really want to get into because I'll just get into a tirade. But
cross-console! That's the word!
Yeah. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, is it called?
Yep.
I think so. That's coming out at the end of March. As is...
And you and I both want that game.
Yeah. And what was the other game I said? Oh, Lego City Undercover comes out this month. So that's 2 games that people are quite looking forward to for the Wii U. I'm hoping that's the start of a uplifting thing for the Wii U. Let's get this console up and running. Do
we all agree that, even though Nintendo has never really been strong with their third-party stuff, that their ongoing problems delivering and getting third-party developers to go on the Wii U really hurts them in the periods between their first-party releases?
Well, they've never supported third party. I've been saying this for years. Like, if it doesn't have Mario, Zelda, or Metroid on the box, they don't care.
But now when they're trying to really compete and they got the new consoles launching, when they have 4 months to 6 months between major marquee first party titles, and you hear stuff like we found out, it's another part of the agenda is that Crysis 3 actually ran on the Wii U, but what did they say? That the CEO of Crytek said, we did have Crysis 3 running on the Wii U. We were very close to launching it, but there was a lack of business support between Nintendo and EA and Crytek to achieve that. And that's not the first time we've heard that, people wanted or considered dropping, big name third party titles on the Wii U going forward, and they're not going to. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of worrying.
Yeah.
Especially like me, because I want Monster Hunter, which isn't first party Nintendo, and I want Bayonetta, which again isn't first party Nintendo either. Those are the games that would get me to buy the Wii U if they're really awesome.
You're alone in that fact. I mean, and Nintendo, we're going hardcore. Half of their we're going hardcore is games that have been out over a year. Like, hey, we're gonna have Mass Effect 3. Have you played that yet? It's the new hotness. No, it's not. Hey, we're going to have Arkham City. Have you played that yet? No. Hey, that's our new hotness.
Ports don't count.
They just went into the launch of the Wii U, secured a bunch of third-party support in terms of porting existing games to the Wii U so they'd have a nice launch window.
Well, though, to be fair, they got support from Ubisoft. That's where most of their support came from.
Almost exclusively, yeah.
But moving forward, their third-party offering looks low, and you'll see the Wii U sales rebound massively in these little spikes every time a marquee title comes up. But I think that's all it'll be. Their year will just look like 6 or 7 spikes a year, and then dead space in between.
When I bought my Wii U, I knew going in that I was not buying it for third-party games. That is a reality that every person that purchased that console had to face at some point. And if they didn't face that reality, then they're idiots.
Yeah.
Zing!
Well, think about it. If it's a cross-console game and it has any multiplayer, why would you, any decent multiplayer, I should say, why would you buy it on the Wii U?
You wouldn't.
Because you know damn well you're not going to play with anybody. I think the number of people playing like Call of Duty on the Wii U is like 50 people. Maybe.
And even that doesn't run very well.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that this podcast is anti-Nintendo. Because all three of us will agree that there's been some cool stuff that Nintendo's put out that we've enjoyed.
I'm not anti-Nintendo at all. I just think the console is a little bit ass.
Yeah, I don't understand why it can't get the kind of love that they give the DS.
I think they'll still put out some, like, this year looks really good for first-party Nintendo games, assuming they all come out this year.
You know what? Let's just drop that. The DS, you know, I love my Vita, not my Vita, my PSPs and my handheld consoles and stuff, but the DS is a sick little platform.
Yeah.
3DS as well. It has a sick library, lots of support, lots of cool games.
Like I said, it's everything that the Wii is not. Or the Wii U.
In a big way, yeah. In a big way.
The reason the Wii U is not selling well is because it doesn't have the gimmick that the first one does, because it's like, hey, you got a touchpad. Most of the people already have something they can touchpad already. They don't need your Wii U touchpad that you can't really use for anything else. Actually, you can't use it for anything else.
I'm a little surprised they haven't done what I thought they were going to do yet, which is just start porting DS games onto the Wii U. Because you've essentially got a supersized DS with that equipment.
Would you want them to, would they crossplay that like they do between the PlayStation and the Vita? Well, I'm talking about in your magical world where this happened. When you thought of this.
You just take a DS game, you put the top screen on your TV and the bottom screen on your touchpad. And that's your game.
Do you think we might see, like, let's say Monster Hunter sells, like, bonker numbers, which it probably will. And let's say Bayonetta 2 sells bonker numbers, which it might. If those sell really, really, really well for Nintendo, do you think there's a possibility of us getting, say, Monster Hunter Ultimate Alpha 2 or whatever they'd want to name it so that they could give it to the other consoles? The same thing with Bayonetta 2. Do you think there's still the possibility that if those series turned out well, that there'd be enough money there for them to release it on the other consoles? Or do you think Nintendo secured it so they're never going to go anywhere else?
Well, Bayonetta is being published by Nintendo, so the chance of that coming out on other consoles is unlikely.
And then at the same time, when they announced that it was going Nintendo Wii only, or Wii U only, none of the console makers were like, oh, damn it. We lost another one.
I mean, I just say that because I really want to play those games, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to, right now in 2013, looking at buying a Wii U right now or saving up for my PS4.
Yeah, just get started on the PS4. The Wii U will drop another $100 in the next 2 years, so just pick it up then. Then you'll have a catalog to play.
I don't know. I can't understand somebody wanting, I understand it's Nintendo, but we've been out for, or the Wii U's been out for what? Since November?
Yeah.
Has it sold 1 million copies yet? Or 1 million units yet?
I don't even know if that's true worldwide.
No, because we know the Wii U hasn't sold more than 57,000 since the beginning of 2013 in North America.
Well, yeah, but it did launch, and that's usually when and then there was Christmas, so that's why I was asking if they've sold 1 million. I'm not sure
what the hard numbers for the total to date Wii U sales is, but it's still low.
Well, they haven't been bragging them, so that's telling.
Yeah, they're not bringing it out like the DS. It prints money!
Well, you've already read those articles about different people at Nintendo doing their formal apology deal. As they do, because it's Japanese culture.
Mm.
When the formal apology stuff starts cropping up that, they're aware of what's going down. But, it's gonna get even crazier once the PS4 comes out, because then you'll start to see the PS4 and the Vita basically offering a higher quality, a set of the same sort of mechanics and functionality that you're going to get out of the Wii U and the Wii U gamepad.
Potentially.
And you can take your Vita to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a difference there that the Vita is its own separate expensive product right now.
Yeah, but have they even released like a standalone buy a second screen for the Vita? I mean, not the Vita, the Wii U.
No,
because that's not going to be cheap.
Nope. It's not going to be cheap.
There's no system hardware in that controller. It's straight up a screen with some streaming equipment in there.
That's true, but I mean, do you think that's not going to be $50 or $100? It's probably going to be a little more than that for the second one that you can only have 2 of.
It's going to be pricey. It's going to be pricey. You know it. Like it'll be expensive enough that you'll be like, ooh, but it won't be so expensive that it puts you out of considering it all, because Nintendo's sort of good at getting people to buy accessory stuff. I'm sure they'll have some sort of deal.
Bah.
But damn, I mean,
the question is they going to have like a Wii U Screen Plus? No, that joke fell flat? Okay.
Well, the other thing is, like, E3 is going to come, and it's going to be brutal because it'll be all of these games. Even if it's going to come out on the PS3 and the 360, they'll be showcasing a lot of the new games from third-party developers, and Nintendo and Microsoft are going to be showcased on the next-gen stuff. And the disparity between the next-gen stuff they're showing and the Wii U just catching up now to what the 360 and PS3 putting out, it's going to be jarring. They're going to have to rely on Mario crazy hard.
They're going to do that like motherfuckers.
Motherfucker. Right. Should we call it a day then, boys?
That has been episode 1 of the official Big Red Barrel podcast with PacManPolarBear, Kev, and Dave.
Dave over here.
And we have not had time yet to really have dedicated followers per se yet, so we don't have a lot of shoutouts, but follow us on Twitter at Dave_BRB, at Krelith, and which is KRELITH, and at PacManPolarBear on Twitter. Once we are up and set up, you guys can start leaving us reviews on iTunes and or Android. Like BRB on Facebook and subscribe to BRB TV on YouTube so that you can be permanently tied into our shenanigans. And we will post the show notes in the forums once the show goes out to the public.
BigRedBarrel.com, home of shenanigans.
Yes.
Shenanigans.
And also the home of the Burbcast.
That is all for this week. Stay tuned for some bonus content if you pick it up on Android or iTunes.
Laters.
Stay frosty.
Yep.
Big Red Barrelcast.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarrel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarrel.com.